go back to this DMI plus thing again. This reduces any jerkiness of quickly moving objects. What do you think about this? Back in the old days, with your old SCART CRT, everything was perfect. Motion was perfect. It was what it was. Whatever came out of the console went into the TV, that's how it was. So why have we got to this stage now where we need manipulation of the picture to take out jerkiness when it's not even there in the first place? This is why I don't like this 100 Hertz business. Are there any actual benefits to this 100 Hertz technology? Well, there's one. I've got a Metz catalogue here. Metz is another high-end German brand of television. Very, very similar to Loewe. This is from 1998, this catalogue. I'm going to read out a paragraph out of the catalogue to help explain this 100 Hertz business. The Metz Vga Retro Kit transforms all Metz 100 Hertz televisions with a 696 chassis into a computer monitor in VGA standard. VGA cards operate with a line frequency of 31.5 kHz. This makes the 100 Hz television an ideal computer monitor. This is because the 100 Hz television has a line frequency of 31.250 in TV mode, i.e. virtually identical with that of a VGA card. I rest my case. I have found that with 100 Hz televisions with VGA inputs, the VGA picture quality is not as good as a computer monitor, but it's acceptable. It doesn't have this effect that it has on old school material. VGA is fine. And that's why I mentioned the VGA port on the back of this television as being very important. Unfortunately, this model is not equipped with the VGA card. I don't even know if the card was available in Australia for this television, for the Media Plus chassis. I know there are Loewes out there, older ones, that had the VGA card available, but it's rare. It's very rare to get, and I'd love to have it for this television. I would love to get the VGA card because I think VGA source inputs would look good on the TV. That also brings me to progressive scan. All of the 100 Hz televisions that have progressive scan support also look fine, and I think that's because it's so similar to the VGA setup. 640 by 480. I don't find this TV as being acceptable. Firstly, because the 100 Hz, it's no good for the old school stuff, as I keep repeating. It does have the component input, but it only supports 480i and possibly 576i, not progressive signals, so it still inherently has the same problems. It doesn't have HDMI, doesn't have progressive scan support, so it doesn't leave it with any options. If this TV had the VGA card, I could probably find a way to hook up the Nintendo Wii. Okay, so let's say you're willing to use this TV, although the picture's not the best, it's got the 100 Hz stuff going on, you're still willing to use it. But what about the issue of input lag? Well, you say that's not an issue because this is a CRT and they don't have input lag. Well, let's put that to the test. Let's go back into this picture menu thing here, DMI, right? What does it do again? Reduces any jerkiness of quickly moving objects. Let's just leave it off and test for lag now. If you see my other video on input lag testing of old SD televisions and such, they usually score around 10 milliseconds. So this one's 16, a little bit higher, but it could be just a fluctuation in the reading. Still not too bad. Let's have a look here. Let's turn this thing on. Alright? Get that off the screen. Let's see if this changes the lag on the TV at all. Look at that, 33 milliseconds. Changing that mode, changing on that DMI mode to on, has increased the input lag of this TV. It's still not super bad or anything, but it certainly shows that it creates lag. And this is the same trend that I've noticed with all 100Hz TVs, all HD CRT TVs, that the lag is present when you're running a composite signal, or even through SCART, RGB, 480i. Any of the interlaced signals always produce lag. It's when you put a progressive signal into the televisions that the lag comes back down. And this is another mark against this TV. I said before, this TV is good for handling, to pick up with the spots underneath at each corners, but the same can't be said for getting it undone. I just took the back cover off this TV and it was quite difficult to do so. It uses Torx security screws. That's no problem to get through those. The only thing that's tricky, and if you're ever going to take the back cover off as I've done here, is make sure you deal with these two tabs up on the top. There's a gap, a small gap. You might have to get something to push down on the two tabs to let it release the top of the case. That was the difficult part. Now, I've seen in some big Grundigs and Loewe TVs in the past that when they get into these massive sizes, they use Mitsubishi tubes. Well, guess what's in this one? I'll zoom in on it. There it is, RCA. How's that, eh? And behind the degaussing tube, it's out of the way, made in the USA. Nice. Just a little look at the quick look at the yoke there, and neck board, and that chassis you talked about, 100Hz job. So really what I need is the VGA card to install, put it into this chassis somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do that, whether I'll get one or not ever is another thing, but and then maybe you can find something for it. Maybe it's got a purpose then, but as it is, it's going to go into storage. Anyhow, see you next time. And one last word, don't think I knock Loewe either. I mean, I don't like the 100Hz TVs regardless of the manufacturer, but Loewe is a good brand and they got some kick-ass old school TVs.